Ron Atchison for McKee's 37. Today I'd like to showcase our 25-foot Pro Lock 12 gauge 15 amp extension cord. The first thing you're going to notice when you see it on the website is the price. You're going to look at it and you're going to say, man, that's an expensive extension cord, and it is. But you also need to look at it as a tool. And the old saying goes, buy the best tool that you can possibly afford. Well, guys don't have a problem spending $400 or $500 for a polisher or $200 or $300 for an air compressor, but then when they go to use the tool, they want to cheap out and buy, a $15 big box store extension cord. Well, the problem with that is the extension cord typically is too small for the machine. All electric motors on startup draw their most amps, and same thing with your polisher. When you go to start it up, it's going to draw the most amps, and if your extension cord's not able to supply it in power that it needs, that's when you start running into problems. You read about it all the time on the different forums of people burning up their speed controllers and motors going out and that type of thing. And typically that's because they're trying to run the machine with an extension cord that can't supply the amount of power that the machine uses, and it burns things up. So let's take a dive down. We'll take a look at the cord and see what it's all about. Okay, we've got a selection of cords, typical cords that you're going to find at your big box store, your Home Depot, your Lowe's type thing, Walmart. And the problem with these cords is they're just too small. The gauge of the wire is too small to supply the amperage that the machine needs. And the other problem with them is you plug in a vacuum, you plug in your polisher, you're up on a ladder, or you're trying to move the vacuum cleaner around the car. Next thing you know, cord pulls out, machine shuts off. Now you got to go back, walk around the car, find it, connect it back up. So what a lot of guys do is they'll do a workaround. They'll tie a knot in it. They'll do something like this. Tie a knot in it. Well, problem with that is it puts stress on the cord. It makes the cord break down internally. Plus you've got this big knot following you around. It's getting caught on stuff. So that's really not a good solution. The other thing is we're all detailers, so we all have plenty of rolls of tape. So I've seen people do this, tape it together. Well, that's not a real good solution either, but it works. So that brings us to the power lock and what makes this cord so special. The first thing you're going to notice right off the bat is just the sheer size of the cord. It's a 12 gauge wire. Typically a 12 gauge wire is big enough to run a 20 amp service. So basically this is an outlet laying on the floor. Your typical 15 amp outlet that you're going to find in most garages really only needs a 14 gauge wire, which is actually smaller than this. So this cord is actually probably bigger than most people have in their wall. The other thing that you're going to notice is the ends are clear. Reason for that is they have an LED light in them. On the power end, it's an amber light, so when you plug it in, the amber LED will light up to let you know that the cord is being supplied with power. On the female end, there's a green LED light that lets you know that the cord is grounded. The other thing that's special about this is the automatic lock. So basically all you have to do is plug the cord in, it automatically locks. You cannot pull it apart. This lock is good for 80 pounds of pulling force. So basically, if you're up on a scaffolding or you're on a ladder or the roof of an RV or something, this thing is not going to come undone on you. The only way that you're going to disconnect it is to pull the collar back, and then that will let the male end come out. The ends are molded on so that they're water resistant. The outer cover is a PVC. It's tough as nails. Basically, it's going to wear good if you're dragging it around on concrete, that type of thing. The other nice thing about it is with it being the PVC coating on the outside, it's very flexible. So when you take this cord apart for the very first time, typically your cord, if you buy a new extension cord and you take it apart for the first time, it's got all kinds of kinks and everything else that you got to wait for that to work itself out. Not with this cord. This cord is very flexible. Actually, it's flexible to below 32 degrees. So if you're a mobile detailer and you're working outside in the cold and it's 40 degrees outside, this cord's going to be just as flexible as if it were 90 degrees outside. So that is the ProLock 12 gauge 15 amp extension cord. Hope you found this informative. This is Ron Atchison from McKee's 37. Thanks for watching.